is an armchair expert, but he makes mistakes all the time. Thank God Monica's here. She's gonna let him have the facts.
You have to pretend this is going to be a big challenge.
Okay.
You have to do your best acting of your life. You have to pretend you don't know I wore this outfit yesterday.
Great outfit.
Oh, really good job. Moving on. Next thing. We're on the wrong set. There's some cheesy sayings.
Is that a new outfit? I really like it.
I was wearing, well, now you're so good. Wow, this is really good. Now I'm convinced you didn't see me yesterday.
I saw you.
I see you. There are some corny sayings on sets.
Yeah.
Some of them I like them.
Which one's your favorite?
So if you're like you're filming 4 scenes that day and you're going to be in Crosby's bedroom and then the next scene's going to be in the living room.
Uh-huh.
You like do the scene, they yell cut. You don't really know what they're saying at the monitor. Are we going to go again?
Yep.
Do we get it right? And then occasionally 80s will go, okay, we're on the wrong set. That means we did it. It's time to leave the bedroom
sexy.
and go to the next set. And I like that one.
My favorite set term is martini shot.
Oh, sure.
That's the last shot of the day.
And do you know the origin of that one?
They'd probably get martinis.
I think specifically Hitchcock would always have a martini.
During the last shot of the day.
During the last setup, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're like checking in, if you have friends who are on set and you're like, how much longer do you have?
We're on the martini.
We're on the martini is like what you want to hear.
I have a bit of anxiety about this fact check.
I know.
There's so much to get through.
We have a lot to get through, but we can't do it all today.
Okay.
You just have to have peace.
Okay, I hope people are patient with me if there's multiple Hawaii updates.
Over time.
Over that they're being leaked out, yeah.
Yeah, because
you had a trip.
We both had trips. I have a big, people think I went to New York.
I'm trying. Yeah, that didn't get through, right?
No.
Yes. Okay, right. You did not go to New York.
Yes, I had a trip planned for New York, and
then White Lotus.
If people, because we had a whole conversation about Buddhism, and I said, "Oh no, what am I going to do? I'm about to go to New York. That's not a place for me to be very Buddhist." And you said you should be Buddhist when you get back.
Yeah.
And I first delayed my trip a day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll just need to get my work done and then I'll feel good. I'll feel ready to go.
Yes.
And then I still didn't, and I canceled my trip.
And you know what's interesting is when you announced that to me, at first I was like, I didn't like it for you.
Yeah.
Because I was worried your anxiety got the best of you. Like you had some anxiety, and I wanted you to have that fun trip. And I know you love New York.
Yes, the most.
But now on the other side of it, I think you listened to yourself.
I did.
And it was the right thing to do. And you still had your spectacular trip with Callie.
I had a little girls trip with Callie, couple day trip that yes, we will talk about over the next 10 weeks.
Yeah. Over ending Q2. Yeah.
That was so delightful and fun. And that was already on the books. I was going to do both. And I just knew, I was like, it's not right. I'm not supposed to go run around the city for the next 4 days, and I just need to be for a little bit.
Are you so selfish that you would have preferred that the flight crashed on the way to New York just so you could say, oh my God, I knew not to take that flight?
No.
I bet there's someone that's bad enough.
That's really
it's as bad as it gets.
That's as bad of a person. If you have that thought, I'm not judging, because Buddhists don't do that.
Right.
But you need to get some help. You need to get yourself into therapy quick.
Well, you would definitely, if you canceled the flight and then you saw in the news it crashed, you would have an enormous burst of gratitude.
Relief, yes. But not like, I knew it. And
the dark.
I might. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I wonder. I wonder if there would be a part of me that's like, oh my God, I have powers.
Yes, you would.
Yeah.
Everyone would. You wouldn't. I don't know that you'd say you have powers, but you'd say, well, now I have to really take seriously that the universe sends me signals.
Yeah.
And then I need to listen.
Remember, there's a famous actress that I thought of at random.
And we just got resolution on that last
week.
It was diabetes related.
It was Michelle Trachtenberg. Yeah. Very sad. Very, very sad. And it seems like it was a diabetes complication, which I hate to do this. This seems really flippant, but that's a ding, ding, ding.
Oh, no.
I know, because this is for Anthony Anderson.
Oh, and he's diabetic.
And we talk a lot about
his
it and how complications are really serious.
Yes, diabetes. I just sent Aaron, ding, ding, ding. I just sent Aaron, there is a remix. A DJ made a mix of the diabetes commercials.
Oh, wow.
And it's pretty good. And maybe I'll play it later at some point in this. Okay.
Speaking of something else bad, I'm sure you heard about Eric Dane.
That he has
ALS.
ALS. Yeah, I've seen him. It's heartbreaking.
That's so sad.
That's in the news now?
Yeah. I figured you might have known from meetings, but like.
No, it really breaks my heart because when he was here, obviously, he told us. Well, he didn't know what it was yet, right? His arm was kind of atrophying and he thought he had a virus and he's seen specialists. And it's a real fucking bummer. It really breaks my heart.
Yeah,
I hate it.
I know.
Yeah.
Did you say anything about the Pope yesterday?
The Pope died. I thought it was today.
Oh, God. You know,
I meant jinxing his death.
Huh?
I meant, did you jinx his death?
Oh, no. Well, kind of. We had David Sedaris on and we were talking about the Pope.
Okay.
Although he was already quite ill at that time.
He'd already been hanging on by a bit of a thread.
Oh, no.
But so he died on Easter?
Today he died. He made it through the rising.
I guess if I were a Pope and I had it my way and they said, you're going to die this month.
Yeah.
I'd like to go on Friday. On Good Friday.
On Good Friday when Jesus died.
Yeah, passed. You say passed.
Excuse me. Passed.
Be respectful.
Yeah, so then
That's a lot of doom and gloom, though.
Sorry, but this is life. Life is happy and sad all at once.
You're right.
All right.
Okay.
We can move on to something happy.
So I did take my trip.
Yes, you did.
I took Lincoln Delta and I Hawaii 8 days.
Yeah. You did a solo trip with your girls.
The headline is incredible trip.
Great.
I'll remember it. I'll be on my deathbed and I'll go,
I did that.
I'm proud of you.
Okay, so that's interesting. So
and he wouldn't like that, but I'll tell you why it's okay to like it.
Yeah.
Or why I think it's okay to like it. Because I was talking with a friend from AA, and there are things in life that give me esteem, self-esteem, and there are things that take away self-esteem.
Yes.
And so, and they're, they're pretty correlated with challenge.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
But it was just an incredible trip. It definitely had its challenges. I might have been a little naive.
Okay.
And then I was wrestling with that.
What were you expecting? Okay, because this is an expectations lesson as well.
I guess I was misled because when Kristen has gone away to film, which has happened throughout their childhood, it always goes really well. I do very well with the two of them by myself. And I was underestimating, like, we have our routine. They go to places. They're in their house. They can separate.
Yeah.
And so I was a little naive. And I've taken trips with them solo. And those are always
individually.
And those are truly kind of effortless and fun.
Yeah.
It's just like being with a buddy. But this was, there were days where one of them was mad at the other for the whole day, the first few days. And I started getting a little nervous.
Yeah.
And then and this is kind of funny. This is one of the many stories. So my mother would have, I know what she would have done because she did it many times. We'd be on a vacation. We'd be acting like assholes. Also, give me so much fucking respect for my mother's whole
single parent,
3 kids. Oh my God. God bless Laura LeBeau. I sent her a message going, you know what? I need to just tell you, you're a warrior and I admire you.
Yeah.
But her move was, guys, we're going home tomorrow morning.
Oh.
There were a lot of those speeches.
There were threats.
Yes. And by the way, they weren't threats.
They weren't empty threats.
My mom, I almost said my wife.
Boy, very Freudian slip.
My mom, we had some rules in the house. There was no begging, period.
Yep.
Now, you already know this about me. She did not play begging. And we left many places where we had put a lot of effort into it and we had driven there and we didn't get our shit together. And she said, this happens again. We're going home. And we did. She never made empty threats.
Wow.
So I'm remembering, like, first of all, I'm feeling that. I'm like, I'm going to tell them.
We're going home.
We're going to go home.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm saying, you must grow a little bit from what you were given.
Okay, yeah.
And so it was a moment where it was like, We tried to go snorkeling, maybe the third attempt. One of them always had a thing. I got stabbed by a sea urchin.
Yeah.
And it was another failed attempt, and then the fight, and then I was in my head. I'm like, I'm telling him we're gonna go home, and then I'm like, I'm gonna meditate. I'm gonna sit on this lawn chair and I'm gonna meditate because I want to be the best version of myself, and I am gonna confront this.
Yeah.
I am not gonna have 5 days more of fighting.
Yeah.
But I got to do it in a very healthy way. And I'm about 12 minutes into my 20-minute meditation, and while I'm meditating, I hear a blood-curdling screaming. And I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, fuck, some parents got to right? Someone's deal with something. And then the scream's getting louder and louder, louder and louder until it's obviously 5 feet from me.
Oh.
And I open my eyes and I look, and my sweet little Delty is fucking covered in blood. Like, I don't even know where to begin to guess.
That is so scary.
Yes, and she has at least 4 hotel employees trailing her because they're obviously scared for her.
Yep.
God knows what liability fears they're having.
Oh, yeah.
They want us to go in an ambulance to be, virtually
Really?
They want us to be as safe as humanly possible. But I know my Delta. What she needs immediately is everyone to leave.
Yep.
Because
She doesn't like that.
Embarrassment would hurt more than, right? The attention
She got
hurts.
that from me.
She got that from you. So, it's okay. Come here, trying to get her calm.
Are you looking for where?
No, I know right now we need to go from 15 to 10 so that I can then say, okay, Mama, let me take a look and just see what we're dealing with. So as it turned out, it was just a lip. But it was good enough that as she was screaming and crying, it was like on her arms and whatever. I knew it was serious, but also you never really know, right? Because they kind of have this reaction to most every injury.
So you weren't scared?
I wasn't scared.
Really?
No, I'm like, this is an emergency level trauma. The bleeding has stopped.
Right.
We don't need stitches.
But you weren't worried about like a hemorrhage?
I wasn't.
You aren't watching enough ER, but okay.
Yeah, had I just done
the pit.
35 hours of the pit in ER, maybe. And we get her all calmed down. Now, this is where I'll give D Money a lot of credit. As the next few days wore on, and especially day 3 after this thing, I'm looking at her and we're in the sunshine. I go, sweetheart. Well, and she told me, she goes, Daddy, I didn't even put my hands out. Yeah. She slipped on the concrete next to the pool. And she said, I didn't even put my hands out, which I kind of was like, I bet she put them out a little bit. She's not lying. She fell directly on her face. So a few days later, she had a black and blue cheek, black and blue chin. She whacked her face. It's so bad. Anywho, I did make this speech. It was a very gentle version, and everyone got their shit together. There was a big turn.
Okay.
We still had stuff.
Sure.
You're going to have stuff.
Oh, you're going to have stuff.
But there was a reset, and I really appreciated it.
What did you say?
I said, it is very hard for me to be on this trip with one of you really mad at any given time. One of you is very, very mad. And I said, and I want to be able to take you on these trips if Mom's working. And I have to be honest, next year comes around. If it continues like this, I'm not sure I'm going to take this trip again. Not we're going home, still a threat. I don't know. People probably think that was bad parenting. Whatever. They did hear, oh, we're not entitled to these trips if we act like assholes. He's saying I can't. I'm basically saying I can't handle it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a great reset. Let's not even talk about just single parent the sunblock routine when you're in Hawaii. Because it's like every 40 minutes I got to slather their whole body. Almost my full time.
I'm glad you did it.
Oh, I did. I'm like, if I bring them home sunburned, that's a
wrap.
That's hard to defend. That one. We go to dinner that night, and I'm now feeling like a failure. I'm like, I should be able to coordinate some kind of peaceful fun. We're in paradise at a beautiful hotel. It should be easy. Should be. And so I'm not going to blame a 12 and a 10-year-old. I'm like, I'm not managing something correctly. And I was so relieved that as we were at these dinners, we were eavesdropping. And I want to tell you, shit's going down on all family vacations. That was comforting. That's standard family vacation. People fight. You think you're going to go to paradise and everyone's going to be so grateful the whole time. That's not what happens.
That's not how it works.
No, you're in a smaller space.
Yeah.
You have to compromise on schedules way more, and you get what you sow.
When I went on my girls' trip.
Yes, you and Callie.
Yeah, we went to Napa.
Wine country, if you don't know.
Wine country, yes.
California.
And
food country.
Well, exactly. And turns out shopping country a little bit.
Country.
They had some really cute shopping. We were just there for 2 nights. It was a quick trip, but we did so much. And we stayed at the Auberge du Soleil. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to say it.
I love a hotel that I can't pronounce.
Oh, yeah. And I love an Auberge hotel. That's a line of hotels. I've talked about the one in Austin before, Commodore Perry.
Yeah, very cool.
Gorgeous. Very cool.
We have visited you there. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. And this one was, it was so stunning and exquisite. And
well, they got my attention because they lent you guys
exactly
an electric G-Wagon.
Well, not us.
They have
a fleet of Mercedes, different Mercedes that they loan out to the guests. You just have to sign a waiver and you can take it out.
Yeah, in wine country.
I know, which is a little like, wow. I was like, this is so nice because things are a bit. Things aren't like 5 minutes away from each other. You do have to drive a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's a pain like to Uber everywhere or to have a driver. So, and we only did one winery. So we weren't like bopping around from winery to winery. But anyway, it was such a nice amenity. And I did feel,
I urged you to make the car will do a 365-degree turn like a tank.
Yeah.
And I really wanted you guys to do that. And you said you might find a parking lot and try it. And then you told me we didn't have time.
We didn't have time.
You definitely had time to do a 360, but I understand.
We didn't have time for that.
Okay.
But we were like excited to try the G-Wagon. Callie drove it and she did a great job. And turns out there were a couple, I ran into many Armcherries on the trip. And again, everyone was so incredible. One I had a kind of regretful encounter with. Not regretful, but Callie and I we're in the little like shopping area, St. Helena. And we went into this little coffee shop just to get a coffee. And we were waiting for the coffee. The place was pretty crowded, but like we didn't think that much of it. We were waiting for the coffee and there was an Armcherry sitting there and she said, "Hey, Monica, I love the show, whatever." And I was like, "Oh, are you from here?" And they weren't. They were, oh God, I'm sorry, I forget. I want to say Chicago.
That sounds right.
Because of Rob.
Yeah.
And she was like, "No, we're just on this trip. Had to get the English muffin." And I was like, "Yeah." And she like kind of pointed to her food a little bit, but I didn't really know what she was talking about. But of course.
Well, I would have thought, this place is known for their English muffin. I better get one.
Well, yeah, but it didn't. I wasn't getting that vibe. I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then I did feel embarrassed because I should know.
Yeah.
I should know about English muffins and fancy foods and stuff. So anyway, I ran out of there as fast as I could.
Okay.
And then
covering your head in shame.
The next day when we were leaving, the morning when we took out the G-Wagon, we went to Yountville, which is the food area where French Laundry is and all these other Bouchon, all these things. The person working at the front desk, Phoebe.
Oh, there we go.
And I will circle back to Phoebe.
Okay.
She told Callie that there was a place in Yountville known for their English muffins and that we should go. And it was called like according to Callie, Mini Model, but I don't know if that's right.
She got it right.
Yeah. So we go there and then we're in line and Callie was like, "Oh, I think that coffee shop we went to was just Model. Like this is a version of that, like another little small
offshoot
version." And I was like, this makes total sense what the Armcherry was saying about
so
the
I
English
was
muffin.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, this Armcherry was in the know. Apparently it's like Oprah's favorite English muffin.
Wow.
And it was insane.
It was.
Oh my God, it was so good. Poor Callie, she's gluten-free. She has celiac. So she couldn't have it.
Yeah. Did she even play the game in her head like, sourdough's got less?
No.
She didn't even make it.
She said when she was looking at it, she was like, if I was going to cheat, she's like, which I never would. Because it's not like.
Mine.
And a lot of people.
I can live with my.
Yeah, she'll be on the ground.
Yeah.
She's like, that might be that would be the one, even though she's not going to do it. Anyway, she got some for Max. Max loved them.
Oh, he did. And he's a chef for people who don't know.
Exactly. He's a chef. So this all circles back, right?
Okay.
Because this is relevant because when we first got to the hotel, there was two like freshly batched cocktails with my name and Callie's name.
Yeah.
And they were called Cherry on Top.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this a weird sim?
Is it a wink?
Or is it a wink? Is it a sim or is it a wink? I don't know, but I don't want to like.
You want to mind your ego and not assume.
Exactly. I was like, I think it's. I don't think so.
You're like, get over yourself.
Yeah, but it had
the
like
word
these,
cherry existed before your podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it had two little cocktail glasses with two like cherries. It was so cute. And also the cocktail was incredible.
Oh, could you text Bert?
Oh, fuck, I gotta text Bert.
You need to.
I guess
it'll be a
text
three-way
Bert.
text, but
He DM'd me, Bert Kreischer.
Bert Kreischer. But he's not allowed to be on a text with a woman, which is hilarious.
He's not. I have to read this.
So
stuff.
I have to be on any communication between the two of you.
You do.
What would be incredible is if you guys did start a huge affair and it was just in front of me and I'm like, well, I don't know how this helped. Now I just have to observe this whole thing. What if because I was there, he felt free to just
go nuts and say so much dirty shit.
Yeah, like I think about your body all the time. What I say was all the time.
Dax was on there. It was fine.
Okay, anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So when Bert was on this show, we had a whole cocktail conversation. We told each other what to have. I told him to get a bee's knees. He told me to get a shot of Fernet.
And Campari.
And then also separately a Campari spritz. Okay, then Jess, Anna, and I went to Little Dom's and I did get the Fernet.
Yes.
We all had it.
Okay.
So I posted a picture of this,
and
right?
you liked it. And he responded?
Yes.
Oh, good.
He responded, he says, I have to get you drunk on my cooking show. Lots of exclamation points.
Yeah.
And then he responded, that sounded creepy.
Where's Dax?
He said, that sounded creepy. We have to get drunk on my cooking show. Which was very, very funny. I like that he's aware of not being creepy. I think that's a great thing.
I do too.
Anywho, so I need to send Bert that cocktail. He'll love it.
Yes.
But anyway, so I was like, well, maybe it was a wink, but probably not. Probably just something sweet they do. And still, that could be the case.
Yeah.
But then there was this cute little card they wrote, and I didn't really understand it at first.
Yeah.
Because there were two hats for Callie and I that they had given us. And then there was a little note that said something along the lines of, here's some hats so you can be, in quotes, a new Monica. And then I forgot that we had just talked about hats on the fact check.
And that you're a new Monica.
I felt like a new Monica when I wear them. So we did have some Armcherry fans who worked at the Auberge, and it was really, really sweet. And I do believe one of them was Phoebe.
Okay.
And she was just so lovely. So I wanted to shout out Phoebe. Oh, and then, yes, because Callie went to the front. I slept in on the last day.
Oh, good for you.
And Callie went to the front and she was doing all these arrangements for the car and this. And she said, so who did that cocktail? And then she said, Phoebe got really red. And then Callie was like, oh no, she got worried that she felt
that she
was I was embarrassed or something.
Sure.
And so she
said Monica won't leave the room.
That's why she's not here. She's really upset. Has nothing to do with the fact that she sleeps 12 hours a night.
Lazy palm.
Yeah. So and Callie said, it was just so sweet and we are so appreciative.
Yeah,
and it was
Monica
so
loved
nice.
it. That's not why she's not here.
Yeah. And Phoebe said, well, we have there are a few fans who work here.
Oh.
And Callie said, oh, it's just so nice for me because I've been around the whole ride and it's just really sweet for me to see that.
Yeah.
And she said, well, she talks about you a lot too. She was like, oh boy, okay.
Have you tried the 360-degree turn in the... I said 365-degree, didn't I? I'm just not remembering. That's how many days are in a year. There's only 360 degrees in a circle, though. Ooh. How embarrassing. Some gearhead's like...
upset. Someone's upset.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
Okay, I had to get involved with something, and I'm wondering. I think I finally did it right.
Okay.
And it was during one of, but this was post reset.
Okay.
So this was fine.
Okay.
We found this like very, very desolate beach. Nobody's there. We pull over. The girls are playing in the thing. Then it's time to leave. We're walking back. Delta steps on a thorn. She's barefoot. She then goes and takes a breather.
Oh, nice.
So now Lincoln and I are just sitting in the car. And I'm looking in my rearview mirror, and there's a woman walking with 2 little kids through this little dirt parking lot. And when I say little, this little boy is like 2.5. A little blonde, cute little boy. And I hear, "Get away from that car." And I look, and she grabs him by the neck.
Oh, no.
And drags his little body.
Oh, no.
And I'm going to get out.
Oh, boy, this is complicated.
Right? Like, I'm not going to watch this woman do this.
Oh, no.
It was really rough. Lincoln saw it too. Like, if I need backup, like
Well,
it was abusive. It was bad.
Oh, God.
And then he tries to get free, and then she grabs his head again, and he falls. And then, and so I roll down the window. I'm about to get out, and then I roll down the window, and I go, no, gentle, 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 gentle. It's gentle, 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 but also the subtext is, I'm getting out of this car if you don't.
Oh, my God.
And she let go of his neck and said, come on. And then she grabbed his hand and started guiding him, which was a huge improvement.
Do you think it was a babysitter?
No.
You're sure?
Yeah, the woman and the boy looked alike. She had some hard miles on her. Let's just
Grandma,
say that.
auntie?
No,
Okay.
mom. It was rough.
That's scary.
I
know. I know.
That there's little people
I know.
who are getting treated like that. I hate it.
It's so sad. That's like the woman I saw outside Covell, remember, like being so horrible to her daughter. And I don't know what you're supposed to do.
I know, because again, we already talked about it, but it's like, I'm not going to say anything that's going to change this woman's behavior for life, obviously. And in fact, that could probably make it worse.
Yeah.
And probably she might take it out on the kid.
Exactly.
And you need to know, however hard you are on me about my aggressive reactions to things, Lincoln, she will not stand for it.
I like that.
Yeah, it's great. I'm glad she's like that. And she was very approving.
Oh, she was.
She was. She thought I had done it well.
Okay.
So I finally did it in a way no one was mad at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what were you going to do if you got out? Steal him, put him in your car, drive away, keep him, give him to me?
No, but my inclination was to get in front of her face, like, so that she knew, I'm not asking you to stop doing this.
It wouldn't have helped.
Well, it would have. She would have. She would have.
In the
She would have been
moment.
Yes.
But I think that will have a negative
Yes.
impact
Yes.
later on. If we have any social worker listeners, maybe they can tell us what you're supposed to do. I mean, I really don't know what you're supposed to do.
I don't know either. And I just happened to see a lot of stuff. So I saw this family get in a fight behind us, and it was the way the man was talking to the wife was such a bummer. And she had no, like, she went like comatose, and then she had to leave the table with one of the boys that was pissing the dad off. And then I saw a grandpa grab a phone out of a teenager's hand at breakfast.
It's
and
so White Lotus.
chuck it on the table. And I was like, holy cow, people are handling their business in certain ways.
Yeah.
And then the anthropologist in me really has to now work through this whole thing where I go like, well, you're assuming your way is the correct way.
Yep.
And clearly people have been raising kids all kinds of way in every kind of culture.
Yep.
And I don't want to be high and mighty and self-righteous.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
I know.
But there's a lot of shit going down. People are really rough. And also going, and people are having a harder time than me. Right? So that's in the mix. I'm not stretched to the limit. You know, I'm not my mom on vacation where it's like, I can't afford the vacation we're on, but I really want to show my kids the country. What was tempting is to go all these spoiled rich people. But that's wrong. I was at the shitty hotels too, and it was gnarly there too. You know what it is it's hard to raise kids. Adam Grant just had a post. You would have loved this. I was debating whether or not to forward it to you. But Adam Grant had another social scientist on that's done all this work.
Oh,
and
I saw it.
You saw it?
I almost reposted it.
Yeah, and it's just in a nutshell. It just says kids make your life worse. They reduce happiness.
Yeah.
Now,
there's stats.
Then you get into the Yuval Harari, like your narrative self does feel one way, and whether or not you should be happy all the time, if that's what you're always servicing, that's a bigger thing. But it was interesting that the data is absolutely consistent and undeniable. They make your life worse.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I know that for a lot of reasons, it's not just like, because they're annoying. It's because there's stress that comes with raising people.
Yes.
If you care at all.
And they don't act. They don't
do what you want them to do.
They haven't figured it out yet.
If you tell them a way to be, it doesn't mean they're just going to listen and be that way.
No.
Like, it's hard. And people are their worst selves around their family.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like thinking about all our vacations when you were talking about yours. And I was like, yeah, we just like yelled at each other. I was just so mean. Like, I was just such a brat. And you know, I just remember us going to New York and I wanted to go to Serendipity so bad.
The movie?
No, the chocolate shop.
Oh, okay.
So bad. It was the only thing I wanted to do. And I brought it up it was like, we'll go. I promise we'll go. And then we go and it's a 3-hour line. I was like, well, you said this. And they were like, we're not doing this. And I was like, oh my, and I like could not handle the fact that we were not going to go to Serendipity.
Yes.
And
yes.
Look, it's just like.
That's where Lincoln and I stuff comes up, is that we've 2 know-it-alls in the family.
Yep.
Who got to make the game plan.
Yeah.
And of course, like we get to the airport, we take a little tram to the airport. It ends at the terminal. I know that the check-in's inside Lincoln. I read a sign, it's down there. And I'm like, okay, well, and then I say, even if you're right, it would make the most sense to peek in this one before we walk all the way down. I read the sign and I'm like, okay, I'm seeing that this is me. Like, this is what it was like to travel with me. This is what it's like to be around me.
Yeah.
And and I deserve this.
Yeah.
And if anyone should be able to figure out how to deal with this, it should be me. But I don't know how to, because I'm the same way. And I'm like, there's the idea of me walking to another terminal that I fucking know United's not inside there.
Yeah.
Which I won't die.
You'd rather die.
Yeah. Again, I intellectually know I'm not going to die if that happens, but there's no way I can do that.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, so we're both this way. I'm 50 and I paid for all this. Does that not get me the like tiebreaker vote? Shouldn't the parent have the fucking tiebreaker?
But not because you paid. That's where the guy who threw the phone, like that guy's that. You know, he's like, I paid for all this, and so everyone better just do what I say.
Yeah, that guy I had diagnosed was, I paid for all this. You better be happy nonstop.
Yeah.
Because this is my vacation.
That's what's comfortable for him.
Yeah. So Lincoln and I, and then it's like, what line do you get in for anything? Lincoln and I have a very strong opinion. And it's me. Yeah, that's what makes it so hard.
But it is tricky because, like,
I know more. Listen, I am percentage-wise, I am right more.
Well,
I am.
You've had more time on Earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
I should goddamn hope at 50
yes.
I know a little more about the world than my 12-year-old.
Yes, I would hope so too. Now, this is where I do think you and Kristen are very kind to the kids. Like the fact that that's even a thought, and I mean, I don't have them, but I do know, if like, even if I was with your kids, if Lincoln was like, I saw a sign, I would say, oh, you might be right, but we're going to do this.
Right.
And like, that's it.
And that's not, right. But that's
and
not.
she'll be mad at me.
That's not going to work.
Well, then she's going to stand there.
She's like me. She'll walk.
Okay.
She'll literally, like, this is why it's like, it's nuclear assured annihilation. She and I we're both the type of people that will be like, fine, you guys go do it the wrong way. I'm going by myself to do it. Now, this is bad, but I'm admitting this to you. So I know if push comes to shove, she will walk by herself away from us and go to where she thinks it is at. So I have got to prevent that because she's that strong and I love it about her.
I know, but
when she's older, I'll be delighted
like there are parts of you as an adult that's like, maybe, I don't know. We could work on.
We could work on. We're working on it. We are working on it. And all to say, I was quite proud when I got home of the job I did, even though I did things wrong and everything. Sure. I do like who I am.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
I like who you are.
It's hard. Sometimes it's hard.
But so you never, I mean, you're right. Maybe it just wouldn't work.
I tried that way with her for a while.
Yeah.
And I want to believe I'm smart enough to go, well, this is what my dad did. And my dad reaped what he sowed. I said, fine, I don't need you. Like if to be with you is to surrender to your will, guess what? I don't need to be with you. So I know I had that in me to walk away from him. And I know she has it in her too. And I'm not going to let that happen. So that's the driving force behind me going, I have to do it differently than my dad did because I know what the result was.
Mm-hmm.
I need her more than she needs me emotionally.
That's
I was there.
True.
No, because I was there. I'm like, I don't care if I don't talk to my dad for a year, which happened numerous times.
Mm-hmm.
That's way easier on me than it was on him, I'm sure. And if Lincoln didn't talk to me for a year, it would devastate me. So I have to be realistic. It's like the thing that Bill Gates' therapist finally told him is you're fighting an unfair war. Your parents are going to love you and never withhold that from you. And you can withhold it for them. And it's not a fair war.
Yes.
And you're going to win. And so that's on the table. So I if there's two variables in this equation and one of them has to bend, it's got to be me because it's not going to be her. I know it because I was the same way.
I know. But what was happening with your dad is different than what's happening with you at the airport taking them to the Four Seasons Maui. Like for real. So if like she did do that, if she was like, I'm not talking to my dad for a month because he wanted to go one way in the airport taking us on a trip.
Yeah.
She needs to be straightened out a little bit.
But
that's not fair.
Listen, but I think you have to be realistic about what you're dealing with.
I don't think she would.
She wouldn't. She's not. Yeah. It also helps that she's a girl and I'm a boy. There's something there that is helpful that my dad and I did. My dad and I had that thing and then male on male. So it was like, and he wasn't around. So I only saw him once in a while.
Yes,
I would see him once a month and he'd tell me what the program was. And I'm like, according to who? Why are you going? Anyway.
You didn't respect him because of because of his actions.
Yep.
So then why would you listen to him if he's saying this thing?
I just know, and you've seen it in me. I can destroy myself and another person.
Yep.
I have that switch.
You do.
I do. Yeah. And I think I gave it to my beautiful little girl.
That's okay.
And so I just have to do everything in my power to not be my dad.
Yeah.
And surrender because I wanna be with her and I don't want her to write me off.
But can I push back a little?
Oh, yeah.
I think you potentially, we don't know, there's no way to go back in time, but you potentially it wouldn't be such a struggle for you now if you had been practicing since you were 12. If you had been put in the position to really start practicing that skill for that long. You've been, like, she's better off early starting to understand, you know what? Sometimes I'm going to have to surrender.
She does all the time.
Yeah.
And so here's what's great. Because I don't get in these wars with her, she will come to that.
Yeah.
She'll calm down.
Yeah.
And she comes to it. So she has built a lot of trust with me. If I thought she never corrected her behavior and she was just my way or the highway and fuck everyone, and then I don't even care and I don't redirect and I don't feel bad and I don't come say sorry, that's one thing. Yeah. That's not at all what I'm dealing with.
Right.
It's in the moment I can have a power struggle with her.
Yeah.
Or I can have the faith that she will recognize she was being really bullheaded and she'll apologize, which is 90% of the time what happens. And I wasn't given that leash.
Yeah.
My mother did. So my mother knew how to deal with me. Obviously, I never had any power struggles with my mom.
Right.
And Lincoln and Kristen knows how to handle Lincoln in a way that I can't.
Well, Kristen is fine to walk to the other side.
Yep. Exactly.
She's not, it doesn't bother her.
And in my defense, Delta has things, but they just don't bother me.
Exactly.
And they bother Kristen because they're her things.
Yeah. But in life, both kids, every person are going to encounter people who trigger that thing. And it's good to have practice.
Of course. There's two things, and Kristen always is pointing this out to me, and it's very, very true. So I'm not saying she's ADHD. I'm not saying that. She's not been diagnosed with that. She goes through school just fine. She does not have a disorder.
She's doing great.
But I just had Tim Simons on Mom's Car with Aaron.
Oh, nice.
And it was so fun. And he got diagnosed very early with ADHD, and he knows a lot about it. And he was telling me some very interesting things about it. One of them is there's really common comorbidities with ADHD. One of them is an overactive sense of justice, like a really strong, like it drives you nuts. And then self-abuse when you've erred, like self-flagellation.
Because you were so confident. I think that's part of it. It's like there's such a double down that if you're wrong, you can't just be like, oops, because you made a whole to-do about.
Well, that's one of them. But then there's just simple mistakes. Like I tripped.
Yeah.
I made a mess. I spilled the thing. I said something I shouldn't have said it. Those kind of things, Delta can shrug right off. Those kind of things Lincoln will ruminate on for a very long time. Like very self-punishing.
Yeah.
So I relate a lot to both of those things.
Yeah, me too.
And so I know what it feels like. So my thing, it's not like I won't listen to authority as much as like, if I have evaluated something as unjust, like I'm a human too, with a brain too, and we have two different opinions, and it is unjust that yours just overrides mine. That was such a hard thing for me. It happened with teachers. It happened with stepdads. It happened with my brother. It was like, we're equal. I don't care that you're older. I don't care that you have a degree. I don't care. Like, I'm a human and you're a human and we both are intelligent and I have one opinion, you have another. And you're telling me I have to let go of mine because what? Because you have some status, whether it's age or this or that. That was so painful for me. I'm not excusing it, but I do know it was extremely painful for me.
Sure. But you can see now, you just said it. You just said it like 15 minutes ago that it's objectively true. You having so many more years and knowledge and experience in life does earn you that. It does earn you.
It does. But it does. And I'm looking at it from that also mature point of view.
Yeah. It's just hard.
It's a lot.
Yeah. It's hard I think it's hard to be a parent.
It is. And then on the other side is the reward of it is also, it's equally matched.
Yeah. Let's see if we can find the thing that Adam Grant said.
Okay. Yeah. And then I'll find the diabetes song.
Oh, great. I can't wait.
Can't believe you don't want to hear that. It's easy for me to find because, of course, I sent it to Aaron.
The last child leaves the house. On average, parents get happier, don't they? The best data suggests happiness increases when the kids leave home and the dog dies. Ouch. You go to some parents and you go, do children make you happy? And parents will say, oh, of course they do. They make me happier than anything else. We know from tons of data that those parents are wrong. That children, in fact, have a small but negative impact on the happiness of their parents. But their parents don't know it. Those data tell you something about parenthood and happiness. There may be many reasons to have children, but making yourself more happy in the moment is not one of them.
Yeah, really good. Okay, Anthony. So he achieved a Guinness World Record by successfully hitting a golf ball 106 feet with the world's longest usable golf club.
And it's really important people take the time to watch a clip of him doing it because you're not possibly imagining the golf club being as long as it actually is.
Yeah, it's pretty wild how long it is. And it's like curved.
Yes, it looks like he is fishing off of a pier.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it's crazy.
And that was in November 2018.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I don't think that'll be beaten.
I don't either. God willing. Okay, the record for the father-son pulling fire trucks, that was in Coburg. So 2 Coburg strong men won't be celebrating Father's Day with a fishing trip, ding, 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 or ball game this weekend. Instead, Reverend Kevin Fast and his son Jacob Fast will attempt to pull 2 fire trucks. The goal is to set a new Guinness World Record for heaviest vehicle pulled by 2 people. The Saturday, June 18th event is a fundraiser for Habitat for Humanity.
Oh, that's nice.
A cause Reverend Fast became involved in last summer when he pulled a house 11.95 meters.
He pulled a house?
Yes. He's also well known for setting a Guinness World Record in 2009 for pulling a 416,229-pound aircraft in 2009 at CFB Trenton.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay. Does Lionel Richie have a room in his house that's a replica of the room he originally wrote his music in? Now, I don't know about that, but there is an article on Architectural Digest about his house.
Oh, there is.
Mm-hmm. As for the home's overall mood, what I'm trying to do here is show travel, says an entertainer who's always on the road. And finally, I found a place where I can apply everything I see in other countries. These disparate ideas he trickles back via photographs sent by email to the masters who pull my ideas together, a team comprising interior designers Peter Schifando and J. Jonathan Joseph, and until his recent death, architect Robert Attry. A case in point of Richie's inspired wanderlust is a subtle palomino hue of the building's exterior, first spotted on a cardinal's house he saw on a hilltop in Lake Como. And then there's the high-gloss, pale yellow Venetian plaster on the walls of the capacious living room inspired by Richie's visit to Poland's presidential palace. The mirrored effect of the walls was so beautiful, I had to ask, how do you do this? With several layers of paint, buffed and polished like a stone, he learned. It's not easy to come by, but once it's done, the room can have a single chair and it works. He pauses. The things that inspire me, he laughs, were done years ago with cheap labor and materials. Trying to recreate them has cost me a bloody fortune. Still in this...
Lionel said bloody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still in this movable feast of the imagination, it's the personal touches that mesmerize. A bronze sculpture depicting Richie's hand intertwined with that of his father. Frame letters from Booker T. Washington and George Washington Carver to Richie's grandmother. A faculty member at the a faculty member at the Tuskegee Institute in Alabama, where the singer grew up. 2 paintings in the billiard room by jazz trumpeter and pal Miles Davis. The kinetic abstracts, brilliant, complicated, twisted, and turned in every way just like Miles, are signed on the back, to the best from the best. With its high ceilings, dramatic staircases,
I wish I
sweeping
could sign from the best.
You can't.
No.
Well, you can, but you shouldn't.
Why can't I'm not the best at anything. You need to be the best at something to sign the best.
You have to be so the best. You have to be Miles.
Davis. Yeah. He can easily sign that.
I think
he's
he's
just
the
a fact.
only one.
No, Coltrane could have done it. Eddie Van Halen. There's a bunch of people.
No, I wouldn't want Van Halen too. Or
Eddie
Brando.
Van Halen.
With its high ceilings, dramatic staircases, sweeping promenades, and international panache, Richie's manor... What? Jordan could. Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. Anthony Anderson's story about Jordan. Yeah. Richie's manor house could be anywhere in the world, which is why he planned it. I call the rooms in my house destinations. If I want to be in a suite in Paris, I go upstairs to the bedroom and close the door. Italy, I walk outside to the stone path bordering the property and look back to see the cardinal's house. With my career, I have to get on a plane every other week, so when people ask, where do you go for vacation? I say I go home.
I want to be a guest at his home.
Me too. But also, the way he talked about it, we don't know the answer, but
sounds likely.
It sounds likely. Okay. When did the police get back together for their last tour after not being together? They reunited in early 2007 for a world tour, which lasted through 2008.
I heard Sting talking about that once on a talk show, and he said it's perfect. He said it was perfect. Within the first 20 minutes of the rehearsal, he and Stuart Copeland were in such a big fight they were going to cancel the tour or something like that. He's like, it was directly back to how the band always was.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, he mentioned elephantitis. He said when all the lower extremities are like one size. Now, it's called elephantiasis. Elephantiasis.
Elephantiasis?
It's not elephantitis. It's elephantiasis.
That's how we like to colloquially say it. Elephantitis. Elephantitis of the nuts.
Yeah, exactly. It's a condition characterized by significant swelling, primarily in the legs, arms, or genitals, caused by a parasitic infection of the lymphatic system. The swelling is due to the buildup of lymphatic fluid, often leading to a disfigured appearance, hence the name. Okay, he was talking about DC. So he said that was the murder capital of the world then. Now, several countries and cities consistently rank high in homicide rates. It says it's difficult to pinpoint definitively which one, but okay. So in 2023, Jamaica had the highest homicide rate.
Okay, per capita.
At 49.3 per 100,000 people, while Ecuador saw a significant increase in its rate to 45.1 per 100,000. Within Mexico, cities like Colima and Zamora have been reported to have extremely high homicide rates. Now, as far as the U.S., St. Louis. Okay, does Anthony have the record for most appearances on Kimmel? Yes, he does.
He does?
Yes. Total of 63 appearances. They include guest appearance. I can't talk. These include guest appearances, guest hosting, and co-hosting.
Okay.
63. Man who played Fela on Broadway. There's two. I'm Kevin Mambo is one, and then a name I'll spell. Okay. First name Sahr, Sahar, and then last name Ngaujah. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Anyway, that's it.
I'm delighted to be back with you.
Me too. Yeah. It's been a long time. We have so many stories.
Too many stories.
We have for next week.
Good that we don't have more time off.
It really is.
All right, love you.
Okay, love you.